Let's go.
Meeting the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lynch?
Here.
Euring?
Yes.
Kish is present, and Abraham is excused. Okay. I have to start with the July 9th, 2024 regular meeting minutes of the Amherst Township Trustees. The meeting was called to order at 7:02 p.m. by Lynch. Pledge to the flag. Roll call was Abraham, Lynch, Euring, and Kish were present. Additional attendees were G. Lynch, K. Smarsh, L. Ashley, and Deputy Fuller. 7:124, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring, to approve the June 25th, 2024 regular meeting minutes as presented. All ayes. 7:224, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Move to approve the financial reports and payment of items on the payment listing as presented and with reservations. All ayes. Under correspondence, Trustee Lynch presented a bulletin received from the Ohio Auditor of State, Keith Faber, regarding required fraud reporting and training for all township employees. Fiscal Officer Kish sent out the information to all township employees requesting they take this mandatory training and supply her with the certificate they will receive at the end of the training, along with the acknowledgement of receiving and completing the training. The training needs to be completed by 9/28/24. This information will stay in the fiscal officer's office and will be needed for all future audits. Lorraine County Stormwater Management District annual meeting will be Thursday, July 18th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at Penfield Township. This will be held prior to the monthly Lorraine County Township Association meeting. Under reports, ambulance, Sandstone Joint Ambulance District quarterly meeting has been rescheduled to August 21st, 2024 at 4 p.m. at the Amherst Fire Station. Under Sheriff, Deputy Fuller reported that the monthly reports are back and now available online. She will be doing some research on fireworks. Zoning Inspector D'Ambrosio was absent, so Trustee Lynch reported that 2 preliminary site plan reviews were reviewed by the Zoning Commission on 7/2/24. Ledbetter Real Estate, Marsh Engineering on State Route 58 south of State Route 113, and an amendment to the General Development Plan for Stratton Corners, David Kohler, Cambridge Services, proposing a 53 acres, 74 homes from 65 development with 2 access points were heard. Under Road, Park, and Cemetery, Road Superintendent Smart reported that everything is running smooth. They are mowing and trimming and started today on restoring the tributary ditch to the Angle Ditch. Catch basins that the mini grants were awarded were completed. 7/3/24, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Move for authorization to enter an Ohio Public Works Commission project agreement and award bid upon full execution of OPWC agreement for Middle Ridge Road TR 32 resurfacing, Brownhelm Township boundary east of Quarry Road project. All ayes. 7/4/24, motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Move for authorization to enter an Ohio Public Works Commission project agreement and award bid upon full execution of OPWC agreement for Moss Canyon Drive concrete replacement project. All ayes. Township Administrator working on the cemetery grant that opened July 1st, working on OPWC Round 39 grant and stormwater mini grants for 2025. 7/5/24, motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Motion to authorize Trustee David Euring to file an application for a stormwater fee credit for township properties at 7530 Oberlin Road and 7491 Oberlin Road that was due 7/1/24. All ayes. Trustee Euring reported that he received word that he may get a 30% credit on our stormwater fee for the gravel lot and drive at the yard waste lot. KEM Engineering is reviewing the township garage detention basin to determine a credit value. And complaints were being handled by the designated individual. Under unfinished business, the Solid Waste Consortium will be meeting Wednesday, July 17th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. at Lorraine County Solid Waste Learning Center. The next regular scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. 7/6/24, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham, to adjourn at 7:43 p.m. All ayes.
Are there any changes or corrections to the July 9th meeting minutes?
I have none. I make a motion to then, well, go ahead. Do you have any? If not, then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Euring?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Alrighty, then you have the credit card detail in front of you. for June, there were two charges. And then you have financials, which were pretty standard monthly bills. We have 3 warrants to Dovin Landworks. 2 were for the mini grants, and what was the one for, Kevin? Didn't they do additional work at one of?
Yeah, the concrete pour across the road.
Right.
That was all bad by the catch
So
basin.
I know Linda's already sent in, and we've already got a response back from Don Romanchik that they are working on the first reimbursement, and I just gave her the paperwork for the second reimbursement in her box this evening.
Questions there on the financials, David?
No, Dover Landworks, you said those were the catch basins?
Mini
Catch
grant.
basin, storm sewer repair, both of the mini grants.
Okay. All right. How many catch basins did we do?
5.
5?
I'm going to make a motion to approve the financial reports and the payments, the items on the payment listing as specified in the documentation provided by the fiscal officer.
I'll second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
And Chris, before we pass the credit card report, I did receive the updated credit card, so the expiration is
Oh,
July 2027 now.
Yeah, sorry, I marked it on some, and I don't think I marked it on, or you should have been marked with a 7.
It's marked on for Linda, but not for me.
Oh, you're right, yep.
Okay.
I caught that after I printed it.
Okay. With that, then, I'm going to make a motion that the credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed per policy and the card statement is accepted as presented, subject to investigation.
I will second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Is there anything else there, Chris?
Well, I just wanted to say year-to-date revenue, we hit the million mark, $1,573,000. And our expenditures are $625,489.88. And there could be an thing I need to do. We may need to change the budget at the next meeting. There was no revenue, I don't want to say no, but there was not revenue placed for zoning for all of these redwood things that are coming in, and there was no expenses. So as it stands right now, I can't pay Tom Horse because it doesn't show correctly. So that will need to be amended.
Okay.
And I'm going to look with Kevin to see if we need to amend a little bit more because of an error that was made, not by him, on concrete.
Okay.
So just so if you get that, don't be surprised.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
And just, Chris, and I know you read it in the minutes, and I'm not putting anything on the agenda yet, but you have done a good job of sending out reminders to people that auditor state fraud reporting training, that is a requirement.
Yes.
And we need everybody 100% to take that. And it's pretty simple training that you do online, and then get the certificate and then the affirmation statement that they have completed it.
The reminder that I sent yesterday or the day before, I ended up getting 4 back. So if
Okay.
I have to keep doing that, I will. And I yelled at David tonight.
She
I
did,
think
she
you'll
yelled
have
at
to
me.
send it
I've
out
been yelled
several
at.
times.
He said, I have till September 28th. I said, no, you
No.
don't.
Let's get them done, because it's too much time for someone to keep checking on it and
Yes.
chasing,
I will
chasing
stay
people
on
around like
top of
they're
that, don't
chickens.
worry.
I had the date right, that's good.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance. If anyone has anything to bring before the trustees, you can raise your hand, and Brenda, you can go right up to the mic.
Hi, my name is Brenda Buchanan, and I'm running for State House Representative for District 54, which is the lower part of Lorraine County, up the side, 4 wards in Huron, and not in Huron, in Vermilion, and all of Huron County except Wakeman and Lyme. I live in Columbia Station, Columbia Township. I served on the school board there for 8 years. 4 of those years I was president. 4 of those years I worked concurrently on the JVS board. And I believe that my experience on the school board will help me bring some common sense to the legislature and try to get things done down there. I know I'm familiar with Ohio Revised Code, managing taxpayers' monies, and coming up with solutions that don't make everybody happy, because as we all know, you can't make everybody happy, but that do benefit everybody in the long run. Thank you.
Great. Have any questions for Brenda, David?
I just wondered what your thoughts were on 519 township zoning.
Oh, the
Changes
township
to
zoning?
that.
Oh, you mean the uniform zoning?
Township zoning, the section of the code that regulates township zoning. Any proposed changes to that?
Oh, yes.
And,
Well, I was reading what was going on in the Senate Housing Committee in regards to affordable housing, and many people were asking about making a uniform zoning code that would take away the residential powers from the townships, and I do not agree with that. Columbia Station is overdeveloped. It really is. And we fought and we fought and we fought for years to keep all of those developments from coming into our township. And I think if you take away the control for the townships, you're gonna be overdeveloped or have issues with different things that can come into your township. Because one of the things that I've been doing is I've been visiting townships since, I think, January, because there are 34 townships in my district, and every township is different. So I don't think you can have a uniform code just to make things easier for builders.
Well, and you can't get the density that they want if you don't have the water and sanitary infrastructure there to begin with, nor the funding to pay for it. And what we've seen, Brenda, is the Senate committee reference, and I don't know who's pushing this. I know that obviously the developers are, but who's pushing it are lawmakers, because the legislature somehow have come up with the high cost of housing is because of township zoning. I mean, that's ridiculous, because this is going across the U.S. It's not just in townships in the state of Ohio. My gosh, if that's the case, how do you explain New York and, San Diego and L.A., Las Vegas? I mean, come on.
And the thing that kind of made me laugh was the fact that they're talking about affordable housing. Well, I will tell you that if I had not moved to Columbia 30 years ago, I could not afford to live there, because there is nothing in that township that's an affordable housing for a starter home. They're doing a development in Eaton, right down the road, and they start in the low 300s. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. So
they want to improve it. First off, there's the 2 biggest things that are increasing. Actually, it'll be 3 in housing. There's always a supply and demand, and I assume some of our legislatures have had some education in economics. Then you've got inflation, which has been out of control here for a while. But then you've got what the Federal Reserve's trying to do to control that inflation, which drove up mortgage rates.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing the state legislature can really control is legislation of regulations. And the more they put in those regulations, the more costs are going to make for new housing to be produced. But the last thing we need to do is have somebody at the state level tell the locals what they need to do to bring down the cost of housing. I think we know how to bring down the cost of housing.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if people at the state know. But going about taking away local zoning and decision-making, that really doesn't seem like the right way to go.
No, and there's so much that, because your townships aren't home rule, so everything is based on what the legislature does. And I know that they've cut the LGF fund back so far that the townships have lost so much money to begin with, that it's it's a struggle, because then you have to go to your property owners to get your money, and then I mean, I know, well, you guys are in Lorraine, I think you were at the same meeting I was when the values went up 31%.
Right?
So, yeah, but I'm totally for townships maintaining control.
Okay, good.
I mean,
David,
there's two
thanks for
sections
asking.
in 519, several sections in 519. The first one deals with zoning powers for residential, and it's different than for commercial and industrial.
Okay.
Okay. Technically, it gives less powers. That should be made equal with commercial and industrial. That should be changed.
And is that-
Another
I'm sorry.
section, they changed their referendum requirements. They went from 8 to 15, and there's talk of either doing away with it or making it even more. And I think it should go back to 8. That's the second change I think I would like to see them make. Give the township back the power that they had for zoning.
Yes.
And several other pieces in that section that I think that we should consider eliminating or changing.
Is that a House bill or a Senate bill, or?
What, 519?
Yeah.
519 is a section of the code that governs
Okay.
township zoning.
Oh, okay.
And things that they've done over the years have been to take away powers from
Oh, yeah.
the townships, and they've been doing it in a piecemeal fashion. A little bit here, a little bit there.
Yes.
A couple more of this, couple less of that, and before you know it, something doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
So, my question is not only not to have changes made that would weaken it further, but let's reinstitute the zoning that was there that made it strong in the past.
Yes, I agree with that, because I've read the OTA platform with the 135th General Assembly, and yes, they keep just chipping away at everything in the townships. And the township was the government in this state before the state had actual government. So, and I think that it's important that we maintain our townships, because, I mean, we moved to a township because it was smaller and the schools had smaller numbers, and you don't want to take that away. You don't want to let somebody take that away and just annex you into other bigger cities, because I know we've had that issue with Strongsville and Columbia.
And also, things, oh, by the way, townships predate the Constitution.
Oh, yeah.
In Ohio, they do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was, I don't want to take it. I was reading this book called, I think it was by David McCullough, called The Pioneers, and I didn't realize it was about the Northwest Territory. And it talks about how the townships were set up with, like in the squares, and there was land supposed to be preserved for a church, and land for a school. And that was before we had a state government.
Yes, 1787.
Yep.
Okay. We didn't get a constitution till when, 1789?
Yeah.
Just be happy we don't have to be judges anymore.
Yeah, that's a good one there.
All right, thanks, Brenda.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to correspondence and announcements. Chris?
The only correspondence I had was what I put in your boxes. I just received it prior to the meeting.
Yeah, and David, what Chris is referring to, if you didn't go to your boxes, the one was just from the Department of Commerce notifying us that all Class C and D retail permit holders that can sell alcoholic beverages, their permits will expire collectively October 1st of this year, and they're just inquiring if we have any type of, if we want to object and hold a public hearing. I'm not aware of any that we have that issue. If you did, we'd have to let them know by September 3rd. But there's no action taken if there's been no issues, and I haven't heard any issues with
I'm not
our
aware
current
of
permit
any
holders.
problems with permit holders.
Okay.
Deputy Fuller, are you aware of any problems with any liquor permits in the township? We aren't having any trouble. I don't know if we have an active bar in the township. I think it would be retail sales then.
Yeah, it's all the retail permits.
Yeah.
So, all your service stations,
We got a brewery.
yeah.
That
but-
brewery on 58.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
all.
only thing we've got that does alcohol that I'm aware of.
I can't think of anything on the top of my head. Not in this township.
Yeah, this is, again, David, this is
No.
selling alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
I don't know what that it means, open containers, so I think every service
Yeah.
station, grocery
Yeah,
store
that's
that we've got
technically
here.
all of like gas stations. They can all sell.
Right.
I don't know. Is it that's specifically saying liquor or is it just
It's the alcohol permit. It
Just
could
alcohol.
be anything.
Yeah, it could be
Full
anything.
season Ds, carryouts.
So there-
I've been thinking I wouldn't know of any problems. You don't know of any problem. Deputy Fuller doesn't know of any problems. So right now, there's no objections.
Okay, so we can move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
And the second one that Chris was referring to is there's a approximate 29.5 acre parcel on the east side of State Route 58, south of State Route 113, that's going into tax foreclosure. So it's just a notice of that particular property. It's currently vacant land. And then the last item I have here, and there's
Who's the current landowner on that?
it doesn't give you that, it gives you the parcel number, David, so
Oh.
you have to look it up. I can look
Oh,
it
no,
up
then.
for you, but I don't know that I want to be announcing, even though it's public information, who
Well,
it is
well-
that's in tax foreclosure.
There's no...
Unless you want to do it, I can give it to you. If you click on here, you
No.
can see.
No, that's
who it
fine.
is.
We won't worry. I think we'll go on to
All right.
wherever we're at next. That's zoning inspector, zoning...
No.
No, not yet.
Hang on, David. We've also got a document that I've included for all our employees. This is upskilling the workforce with technical credentials. This was provided to Lorraine County Township Association, and this is where additional training can be had, and we can, up to $2,000 will be reimbursable. So we would pay up front and be reimbursed through the state. And this is through the Governor's Office of Workforce Transformation under the Department of Development. So you can look at that. You can look on the techcred.ohio.gov for what is eligible. It's a very long list. Their search option they have, I found it wasn't real user-friendly. You have to actually know exactly what you're putting in, and then items I was told are definitely in there, I couldn't find them in the search. So the reality is we were told that Lorraine County Community College will be one of the partners that can provide this credentialing. And so if we work with them, the college is even discussing an option where you wouldn't have to pay up front. So you'd submit for your reimbursement to get the money. Essentially, no money would transfer then in that, but the individual that signs up would have to complete the curriculum. And some of the curriculum can be done online. So there'd also have to be the timing of when this is, and if it's online, generally it's not immediate, so it's something that you can do at your leisure to fit into your schedule versus during the workday. But that's something we'll take a look at here a little bit more for some of the training for people that have asked for improved training. So that's it that I had for correspondence. We've already talked, we're just keeping it on the agenda here as far as the Auditor of State training till everybody's completed their training. So move on to reports. I have nothing to report under ambulance since we don't meet until next month. Deputy Fuller, I don't know if you have anything for the sheriff?
I do not have anything to report.
Okay. So there's no crime or?
Knock on wood, I haven't got any calls from you guys.
All right, and our zoning inspector's not here today. Pardon?
Did Chris have anything?
He's not made it to me yet.
Oh, well, you're usually before
He's-
the
he's-
sheriff.
No, I've got Chris after zoning.
Oh,
And,
I didn't.
So we'll move on then for the One thing I'll mention in the zoning, we're still waiting for the Get-Go Market and Cafe that's planned there on the former Golden Acres site. They're still waiting for now an additional review by ODOT, which agreed they could have a full right and left-hand access there from State Route 58 to the property that Giant Eagle's looking at purchasing from the Port Authority. But now ODOT asked for additional information to justify that there's no need for a right-hand turn curb cut. And I know Giant Eagle was expecting a response back from ODOT by the middle of July. We're at July 23rd, which is to me beyond the middle, and there's been no response yet. So that's still waiting in the wings to see what happens there. Okay, now we'll move on. Fire Prevention Officer, Chris Nyhard.
I know we had talked before about the, any like the commercial developments that come up with the fee schedule or something to cover whatever they're doing or whatever they're building. Is that still something that we're considering?
Yes, there's some additional work, Chris, that's been going on, discussion with the prosecutor's office.
I mean, just on the fire end, not, I mean, I know what they're working on, but like some of the businesses that are gonna have, you know, sprinkler systems, they're gonna have there's state required inspections that have to be done. And we can do them, it's just a matter of, you know, are we considering having a fee attached to that to cover the cost for new construction?
We don't yet, but I know that I'll have to have that discussion with Linda and Sam, and I know you've talked with them because that's where we're going with this. And I believe Linda had from you already somewhat of an estimate, but it's more what the average fire inspection is.
Right.
You know, and calculate just to cover the cost of what that is. But yes, and that's where it's my understanding that we can do that, but you know, I think you've probably been informed what the prosecutor says, what you can and what you can't do. And I think they were waiting for some wording from the prosecutor's office.
Okay.
Okay?
And I know I believe Captain Irvin sent over the quarterly, not yet? Okay. Well, just keep in mind when you look at that, I think there was 2 or 3 house fires that are attached to that, so it might be kind of,
Oh, big one,
Yeah.
big bill.
yeah. So just look it over when you get it, because like I said, there was at least 2, maybe 3 house fires on there that are in
Where
that.
were they,
So-
Chris?
What's that?
Do you recall where they were?
Copper Creek and one on State Route 113, all the way at the back of Barson's property, or that lane. That
Really?
goes- What's that?
Really, back there?
Yeah, there was a garage, 2-car garage, and then Copper Creek was the back of the house, and then pretty much the second floor of the house. So, and they both took quite a while, so. So just, when you look at it, just, and if you have any questions, I don't know if you get a hold of Brandon or Tim.
Yeah, you know, right now, though, you know, till something changes, if I had a question with Jim's passing, I'd probably call Brandon first, since that's the way they had the, you know, staff set up right now,
Okay,
until we hear differently after the city finally decides who the new chief is.
okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions for Chris? Yeah, pretty soon you'll be having a lot of work, I guess. Okay, roads, parks, and cemeteries, Superintendent Marsh.
All typical township maintenance is underway. The OPWC project, the Moss Canyon concrete replacement, that started yesterday. They have a lane tore out, and it's all ready to be poured for tomorrow. And then the next day, they'll tear out the westbound lane and get that ready. And also, tomorrow, they'll be tearing out the half of the cul-de-sac at Deepwood.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. You did get You've got that drainage at Stang Road's all completed.
That is completed.
You've got your estimate for round 39 OPWC. It's just, you've got the part from the engineer's office. And
Correct, and I put in the call today because I actually have 2 estimates coming for that catch basin, and either one have gotten back in touch with me.
okay, well, you know the deadline that we have to hit to get that into the engineer's office, but the sooner the better because, and David, so you're aware, we've got to work between the Stormwater District and the County Engineer's Office to put together our grant application because we're hoping to get approval for the mini grant on the catch basin replacement Kevin's referring to use that as the partial match for the OPWC fund. So we're going to have to work with 2 different county groups on that to then get to the state.
Yeah, if I don't hear from either one of them as I return back to them tomorrow, I'll try to go into an express lane different route with someone else.
Okay. Worst comes to worst, using your experience and what you've just done with the existing catch basins, we'll just have to explain how we came up with that number.
Yeah.
We have to go that route to just hit the schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. There is one more item here then under cemeteries is Kevin was approached by a resident that currently has 4 lots in the Kendick Cemetery that they'd like to sell back. It's my understanding the individual's husband purchased all these lots. He did pass away several years back. He is buried there. But for whatever reason now, his widow wants to sell these lots. 3 of the lots are nice open area. One of them's kind of in between, so it wouldn't be the most desirable. These were purchased, David, many years ago, before my time, at $100 a lot. Unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly when because the deed doesn't have the date filled in. But the first question was, well, what does she expect for these lots? She's come back with a request for $150 per lot, recognizing the location of one of them, so a total of $600. I think that's probably pretty reasonable, particularly when you, and she's a township resident. I assume she's still a township resident, don't know that. You know if she still lives in the township or is she?
Don't know that for sure.
Okay, but regardless, for a township resident to purchase a lot today is $493. So buying back $150, that does give us 4 available slots available for people, 3 of them that are in a desirable location. You know, the other one's going to be mixed up with other family members from the person that's trying to sell it. So, but with that, to get it on the floor, I'm going to say the board shall repurchase cemetery lot numbers 182 A, B, and C, and 194B from Tammy Abraham for the sum of $150 each, or a total of $600, upon proof acceptable to the board that she is a true and lawful owner of the cemetery lots and has furnished the deeds for said lots, or has submitted a sworn affidavit that the deed has been lost and that she is the true and lawful owner of the cemetery lots. I see in the wording there it says 100, but I'm going to correct that. That's $150. So that'll be my motion as this is all prepared here.
At this time, Neil, I will not second this. There's a little bit of history behind this. At the time, within the time frame that these lots appear to have been purchased, there was in the township a proposed or a future increase in the purchase price of a cemetery lot. Okay, the lots went from, I believe it was $100 to $200 at the first of the year. Prior to that, there was a flurry of many lots being sold. these lots appear to be part of that flurry of lots that were sold. My feeling is that these lots benefited from benefited from a time before the lot price increased. My inclination is to offer what was paid for them. That's my first item. So that would be not 150, but 100. We're talking about 4 lots there, so I would say offer them. They paid 100 for them, so offer 100 for them back, to buy them back. And the second item is, I would like to look at the deeds and have a little bit more time on this. So sit down with Linda, look at the deeds in the book, refresh my memory on that, see if there's anything else there. So I would say, I would like 2 more weeks on this, just to get my level of comfort with this settlement. But right now, I'm looking at 100, and that's because of these lots having been purchased at a time when the price was lower, discounted, shall we say, avoiding a price increase. And my gut reaction is to, hey, you paid 100, you wanted to save 100 on it, you did, so you get your 100 back. You get what you paid. If you paid 200, then I'd be talking giving you 200, but you didn't. You paid 100, so now I'm talking 100. That's the way I look at it. Right now, but I do need more time on this,
Okay.
And I realize you did put some time in on this, and I appreciate that. However, I just need some time to look at this. Talking with Linda today, we pretty much narrowed it down to a time frame. It looks like around 1996. They had
You
been
spent more
purchased.
time to try and go back to 1996?
No, it wasn't that long. It was about, it was just on the phone. 15
Okay.
minutes, and but anyway, but I just more time on this.
All right, well,
When I'm
Dave,
looking at,
I'll grant that. No, I mean, it's going to be frustrating because it's
I
going to be
know,
more
I know.
time to
You,
put this
like-
together.
Well, you just have to change the dates and print it out.
Okay, but
It's frustrating, I know.
it is, but your logic in the first part, though, I can see wanting to see the locations, because I've already seen that. But to say because someone was aware of a price increase, so they bought it sooner, that's just normal course of common sense. That's why Chris just talked about the fees for fire inspection. If you recall, the last time we updated all of our fees, we did it at the organizational meeting in December, but we said the fees wouldn't take effect until March, and we did that deliberately, knowing that a newsletter would go out and notify all the residents of the potential fee increase. So if they were thinking of whether it's putting up accessory buildings, building a house, putting in a swimming pool, a fence, get it done now before the fee goes up. We actually encourage that versus discourage it. So just so you're aware too, that I respectfully am confused by the logic of trying to penalize somebody for doing something that to me is common sense. And I think that $150 are expecting someone to only get back what they paid, and you've now determined 1996 and 2024 will refund only what you had. That hats off to you, but again, keep in mind, this is going to be a lot of extra effort for a differential of $200. So hopefully, next meeting, there's a decision, because if there isn't, I'm done with this. And anybody that has any question, if that family has any issue, I'm going to always turn them back to you, and I will make sure I give out your phone number for future communication.
Well, I thank you.
You're welcome.
Give him a pen.
Yeah.
It's got my phone number on it.
All right, I'll let you give them the pen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, as far as the Phase 2 stormwater, which we cover in the second meeting of the month, is we did have on July 18th the annual Lorraine County Stormwater District meeting. What I can tell you is, since other than the mini grants that we have here, as you're aware, we're still waiting for the easements to be agreed to for the projects that we've had monies approved for. We need those easements, and I know that two of the property owners, their attorneys are involved in discussions on this right now. You always expect this when it's helping property owners. You'd think they jump up and down and say thank you, but those that have more financial wealth than attorneys, sometimes they just, I guess they like spending money on this and holding things up, but, you know, eventually I think they're going to come to pass and this is going to be done, and hopefully it's not something that's a legal thing, but that common sense will rule on this. Okay, the only complaints here, we've got, let's see, are for Sam, and he's not here today. David, any update on the street lights?
No, I don't have an update on a time frame on those, just still not on. Two more lights that I've noticed that are out, one of which is in front of the garage. I don't know if you've noticed that. One light on the north side of the tracks, and then the other one's at Hidden Valley and Moss Canyon.
And you contacted First Energy on?
Yeah.
Okay,
on those.
good.
Got a work order on them. But,
Okay, good. And Chris, did you want to have any discussion on street light costs yet, or do you want to hold off on that?
No, our bill for streetlights, NOPEC has offered us a 3-year rate, and we signed an agreement with them.
For lower costs?
For way lower.
Okay. All right, that's all we had then. A new business for the unfinished business, David? Anything on there?
just under the stormwater fee credit, I did not receive an email from Don Rumming, so I did get in touch with him today for an update, and he said that he should have a formal decision by the end of the week, and as I stated before, it looks good for the property across the street for at least a 30% discount in that rate, and he's optimistic for something similar for the township garage, maybe a little bit higher percentage, but keep in mind that the most you can get is 50%, so even if you got 30 or 40 on a piece of property, that's still 60 or 80% of what you're able to get, so that's still pretty good. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, that we should have a formal answer by the end of the week.
Okay,
We
good.
should issue one. Okay,
We'll find out at the next meeting.
I hope so.
Okay, and then, David, for the Waste Hauling Consortium, I did attend that meeting, since you couldn't make it.
Thank you.
What I can tell you, that several things came up. One, I guess some of the townships, there's been additional, what they termed unauthorized waste haulers showing up in the township for residential waste. I don't know how that's working out, how that's happening, but I'm not aware of any of that in our township. Sounds like it's some smaller operations, but something to keep in mind, because recall there was that one small operator had bid on the contract, but just for our township. There's also, will be a fuel price reduction. Since the diesel fuel had come down, it'll be about 50 cents per bill coming out. So if residents haven't already seen that, it depends upon the billing cycle, they will see that small reduction. The recycle reports that had to be entered into the county's solid waste district recheck system, you won't have to do that anymore. That's all going to be, since there's no grant money anymore, we don't receive anything, seem to be going the way of local government fund, is they've agreed, well, it would be silly for the burden to be on the township to enter information when there's no funding, so the district has agreed to enter that information. There will be at the next consortium meeting, which will be on October 16th, at the training center there on Abbey Road, is a discussion will be on a potential reduction in the administrative fee that everyone pays. What the consultants have to do and the attorneys is they're going to put together a budget right now based on the anticipated expenses and revenues here for at least a 2-year period so that we can make an informed decision on that. Then also the David Blevins, the director of the Solid Waste District, indicated that there won't be an ag tire collection this year. What they've decided to do, since they've seen the volumes going down, is they just want to do the ag tire collection every other year. And the reason is that's been funded with an EPA grant, and they believe that they have a high probability of getting that grant each year, but if they do the ag tire every other year, they can use it for other types of services there from the Solid Waste District. And he also announced that they were able to hire a new administrative assistant for the Lorraine County Solid Waste District, which he seemed happy of. It probably relieves him of some work, but they did not mention the name or give out any details on that. And as I mentioned, the next meeting will be October 16th, if you want to put that on your schedule. That's October 16th of 2024. And you know where the location is on that, correct?
Yeah, we're at the recycling building.
Right. And that'll be at 5:30 p.m. Okay. And then Rumpke passed out the recycling reports and also the mixed solid waste. And if you look at the percentages for recycling, Amherst Township for the quarter from April through June, we are at 20.7% of the total tonnage collected was recycled. And to put that in comparison, the township that's our closest in our size are Eaton and Carlisle. Eaton Township was at 18.2, Carlisle was at 18.3. So we're almost 2.5% more recycled than the other two townships that are in our size equivalent. You go to a smaller township, and I know Penfield's always been big on the recycling. Penfield has significantly less volume. Their total between the recycling and solid waste, to put it in comparison, is 201 tons versus Amherst Township at 715. So they're less than a third, but their recycling rate is 22.3. They happen to be one of the highest. So they're another, not quite 2% more than we are, but they do a nice job on recycling.
I think it helps what you put in the newsletter.
It probably does.
It keeps the awareness up.
Yeah. Well,
I really think that helps.
if you look at Penfield, they even go bigger, and they've got their own recycling yard, a real nice one over there too, but they put a lot of time in it. Okay, that's it as far as all the business here. Our next regular meeting will be at 7 o'clock on August 13th. Kevin, do you have any need for a work session yet?
No, but an executive session,
Today, then? Okay.
please.
All right. David, is there any other business?
No, I have nothing.
Okay, well, one final chance for any new audience, and I don't see any new audience members. Okay. Kevin, is this personnel, legal, what?
Concrete repair.
Okay. So this is going to be with potential disputes involving the public body?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm not, if it's something on a repair, I've got to have a legitimate reason where it's taken out of the public view.
No, that's fine.
Okay, then I'm going to make a motion to enter into executive session per Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22 G3, regarding disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action.
Okay, I will second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
That's at 7:51. Okay, we're going to return from executive session to the regular meeting at 8:11 p.m. That'll be my motion.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Okay, is there any other business? Okay, then I'll make a motion to
Do we
adjourn.
have when the next meeting is?
He already said
I
that.
already said that.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. All righty, I have nothing else.
I made a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.